The alien mercenary captain's hands trembled as he stared at the thermal scanner. In his 20 cycles of combat across 3 galaxies, he'd never felt such fear. Through the reinforced windows of his command ship, the icy surface of Europa stretched endlessly, reflecting the dim light of distant Jupiter. "Sir, movement detected in Sector 7, his sensor operator whispered, mandibles clicking nervously. It's one of them. A human." The captain's scales rattled. One human. Just one. His crew of 30 elite mercenaries, the best warriors money could buy from across the galaxy, were terrified of a single human soldier. "Impossible," he hissed. "The temperature out there is -160 degrees. Nothing can survive that without heavy equipment." He zoomed in on the scanner display. The heat signature was faint but steady, moving with purpose through the frozen wasteland. His second-in-command leaned closer to the screen. "Captain, remember what happened on Mars? An entire regiment of Kraxan warriors, eliminated by just 3 humans." The memory made the captain's blood run cold. He'd seen the aftermath footage. The Kraxans were feared throughout the galaxy, 8-foot-tall warriors with reinforced exoskeletons and advanced plasma weapons. The humans had torn through them like they were training dummies. "All units, battle positions," the captain ordered through the ship-wide comm, "activate all defensive systems. Whatever happens, do not let that human reach the ship." The thermal signature suddenly vanished from the scanner. The bridge crew froze in terror. "Where did it go?" the captain demanded. "Find it." A dull thud resonated through the hull. Then another. And another. The sound of something climbing up the side of the ship. "Impossible," the sensor operator whispered. "The hull is smooth durasteel. There's nothing to grip." The thud stopped directly above the bridge. The captain raised his plasma rifle with trembling hands, all 4 eyes fixed on the ceiling. The only sound was the terrified breathing of his crew. A small object dropped through the emergency hatch, landing in the center of the bridge with a metallic clink. Not an explosive. Just a simple metal canteen, the kind human soldiers carried water in. The captain stared at it in confusion. Then understanding dawned, along with fresh horror. The canteen was covered in frost. The water inside would be frozen solid in Europa's brutal cold. But he could hear liquid sloshing inside. The human's body temperature was so high it kept the water from freezing, even in -160 degrees. That's when the captain finally understood why humans were called Deathworlders by the rest of the galaxy. They weren't just trained soldiers. They were creatures that evolved on a planet that should have killed them 1,000 times over. A planet with crushing gravity, extreme temperature swings, toxic atmospheres, and constant disasters. And they didn't just survive it. They thrived in it. The emergency hatch exploded inward in a shower of sparks and frozen metal. A dark figure dropped onto the bridge, moving with impossible speed and grace despite wearing minimal cold weather gear. The human soldier straightened up slowly, frost crackling off their suit. Through the clear faceplate, the captain saw something that would haunt him forever, a slight smile, the kind a predator gives its prey right before the kill. The captain had one last thought before the human moved. "Now I understand why every mercenary company in the galaxy has a standing order, never, ever take contracts against human special forces." No amount of money was worth facing creatures that made the galaxy's deadliest warriors look like children playing at war. The human's hands blurred into motion, and the bridge erupted into chaos. 10 years earlier, humanity's first contact with alien life didn't happen the way anyone expected. There was no diplomatic landing on the White House lawn, no formal exchange of cultural ambassadors. Instead, it began with a distress signal picked up by a research station in Antarctica. The signal came from a damaged ship that crashed in the Ross ice shelf. International rescue teams rushed to the site, expecting to find human survivors. What they found changed the course of human history forever. The ship's hull was made of materials never seen on Earth. Inside, they found 3 injured aliens, tall, reptilian beings with iridescent scales and 4 eyes. They were merchants, part of something called the Galactic Trade Alliance, forced to make an emergency landing after their ship was damaged by mercenary raiders. Dr. Chen, the team's medical leader, remembered that day clearly. As she treated the aliens' injuries in the research station's medical bay, they kept staring at her with all 4 eyes wide in disbelief. "You shouldn't be able to move so easily," one of them said through a translation device. "The gravity here, it's crushing." That was humanity's first hint that they were different from most alien species. Earth's gravity, which humans had evolved under, was nearly double what most spacefaring races considered normal. What felt natural to humans was a brutal weight to most aliens. The merchants explained that they were part of a vast network of civilizations spanning multiple galaxies. Trade routes crisscrossed the stars, protected by peacekeeping forces. But lately, mercenary groups had grown bold, attacking ships and raiding colonies. "We can pay you for helping us," the lead merchant offered. "Our ship's cargo is valuable." "Once we contact our people the attack siren cut him off. The research station's radar had picked up multiple ships entering the atmosphere. The merchants' faces went pale. "They followed us," one whispered. "The mercenaries never give up a target." 3 massive ships descended through the swirling Antarctic snow. They landed surrounding the research station, their weapons already powering up. The station's steel walls suddenly felt very thin. Dr. Chen watched through the medical bay window as figures emerged from the ships, 8-foot-tall aliens in powered armor, carrying plasma weapons. "Mercenaries from the Kraxan species," the merchants explained. "Feared warriors for hire. Your weapons won't hurt them," a merchant warned as the station's security team took positions. Their armor the first Kraxan warrior burst through the station's main door, only to be met with a burst of simple lead bullets from the security team's firearms. The alien staggered back, armor cracked and purple blood seeping out. "Impossible," the merchant whispered. "Their armor stops energy weapons." What the merchants didn't understand was that humanity had never developed energy weapons because they never needed to. The sheer kinetic force behind their projectile weapons, powered by Earth's high-gravity muscles, was enough to punch through most alien armor. The battle that followed would become legend. 30 human security officers armed with primitive firearms against 100 Kraxan mercenaries in powered armor. The aliens had superior technology, but they weren't prepared for human strength, speed, and violence. They weren't prepared for humans who could still fight effectively in the freezing cold. They weren't prepared for humans who could take hits that would kill most species and keep fighting. They weren't prepared for the sheer aggressive fury of cornered humans protecting their own. When it was over, the snow was stained purple with Kraxan blood. The surviving mercenaries retreated to their ships and fled, leaving behind dead and wounded. They also left behind something else, video footage of the battle, recorded by their armor cameras. That footage spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Aliens watched in horror as simple humans with chemical-powered weapons decimated warriors in advanced armor. They saw humans shrug off injuries that should have been fatal, fighting with broken bones and bleeding wounds. The message reached every mercenary company in known space: Earth was not to be trifled with. Its people were different. Stronger. More durable. More aggressive. But some mercenary groups didn't listen. They saw Earth as a primitive world, ripe for raiding. They thought superior technology would give them the advantage. They were wrong. Humanity's response to these raids was swift and brutal. As Earth began reverse engineering alien technology, combining it with their own warfighting experience, something new emerged: human special forces equipped with both Earth ingenuity and alien tech. The galaxy was about to learn why you should never underestimate creatures that evolved on a death world. And the mercenaries who survived their first encounter with human special forces would spread new warnings. Don't take contracts against Earth. Don't raid human colonies. And if you see a human soldier coming for you, run. Run as fast as you can. Because humans weren't just another species joining the galactic community. They were apex predators who had spent their entire history fighting to survive on a world that tried to kill them every day. And now they were taking that fighting spirit to the stars. 6 months after the Antarctica incident, scientists from across the galaxy gathered at a United Nations conference in Geneva. Their mission: to understand why humans were so different from other spacefaring races. The answer lay in Earth itself. Dr. Wilson stood at the podium, pointing to environmental data comparing Earth to other inhabited worlds. The alien scientists in the audience shifted uncomfortably in their specially designed chairs, struggling with Earth's gravity even inside the climate-controlled building. Earth is what we call a Class 12 death world, a Centaurian scientist explained through his translator. Most civilized species evolved on Class 3 or Class 4 worlds. We've never encountered sentient life from anything above Class 8. The differences were stark. Earth's gravity was crushing by galactic standards. Its atmospheric pressure was intense. The temperature swings between seasons would kill most alien species. Even the oxygen content in the air was considered toxic by some races. Your muscles, another scientist noted, they're incredibly dense. Your bones, reinforced naturally. Your cardiovascular system, it's remarkably efficient. All adaptations to Earth's conditions. But it wasn't just physical advantages. The constant environmental challenges had shaped human psychology too. Earth species had to adapt quickly or die. Natural disasters, climate changes, predators, humans faced them all and survived. Your people expect things to go wrong, a psychologist from the Rigel system observed. You plan for failure. You prepare for disasters. Most species, we evolved in stable environments. We never needed these traits. In a practical demonstration that afternoon, the differences became clear. A human soldier and an alien warrior of similar training levels went through an obstacle course. The alien had superior technology, powered armor, energy weapons, advanced targeting systems. The human wore simple combat gear and carried basic weapons. But when the course began, there was no contest. The human climbed faster, ran longer, adapted quicker to changing situations. When part of the course collapsed, an intentional test, the alien froze, waiting for instructions. The human immediately found another way through. You don't just survive, the alien warrior said afterward, mandibles clicking in amazement. You thrive on chaos. The implications for military operations were enormous. Human soldiers could operate in environments that would kill most alien species. They could function without their technology if needed. They could improvise, adapt, and overcome in ways other races found hard to comprehend. But the greatest advantage wasn't physical at all. It was humanity's drive to improve, to push boundaries, to become stronger. In the ship hangars outside the conference center, engineers were already combining human ingenuity with alien technology. They kept the best of both, human reliability and alien advancement. When something didn't work, they fixed it, improved it, made it better. Your species, an alien general observed, watching human engineers modify a captured mercenary vessel, you never accept good enough. You always want more. That drive was changing the balance of power in the galaxy. Mercenary groups that once preyed on primitive worlds now found themselves facing an enemy that was rapidly catching up technologically while maintaining all their natural advantages. The first human special forces units equipped with hybrid technology were deployed against mercenary raiders 3 months later. The results were devastating. Human strength and speed, enhanced by modified alien armor. Human weapons, upgraded with alien power systems. Human tactical thinking, supported by alien sensor technology. The mercenaries never stood a chance. "We thought technology made us superior," a captured mercenary commander admitted during interrogation. "We didn't understand that technology is just a tool. What matters is the warrior who wields it." And human warriors, shaped by Earth's harsh conditions, were in a class of their own. Word spread through mercenary circles: humans weren't just strong, they were getting stronger. They weren't just learning, they were evolving. Every encounter with human forces led to new adaptations, new improvements, new ways of fighting. In the conference's closing session, Dr. Wilson made a prediction that would prove prophetic. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our muscles or bones or even our technology. It's our eternal discontent. We always want to be better. Stronger. Faster. Smarter. We look at our limitations not as boundaries, but as challenges to overcome. The alien scientists left Earth with a new understanding. They'd come to study a curiosity, a species that evolved on a death world. They left with the knowledge that this same species was about to change the galaxy forever. Because humans weren't just Deathworlders anymore. They were Deathworlders with access to galactic technology and an insatiable drive to improve. And the mercenaries who had once seen Earth as an easy target? They were about to learn why you should never corner a predator in its own territory. The age of human dominance in galactic warfare was just beginning. The training facility deep in the Rocky Mountains looked ordinary from the outside. No alien technology visible, no advanced defense systems in sight. Just a series of buildings and training grounds surrounded by wilderness. Inside, history was being made. "Welcome to selection," the old instructor told the group of 50 candidates. His weathered face showed scars from both Earth and alien weapons. "You're here because you're the best Earth has. But that's not good enough anymore." The candidates came from military units worldwide: Navy SEALs, SAS, Spetsnaz, and other elite forces. Each had proven themselves in combat against alien mercenaries. Each thought they knew what to expect. They were wrong. Traditional Special Forces training focused on Earth-based warfare, the instructor explained, walking past the candidates. "But we're not just fighting on Earth anymore. We're fighting across galaxies, in environments that would kill most humans instantly." The first test came at midnight. The candidates were taken to a massive chamber designed to simulate alien environments. The gravity shifted, doubling then tripling Earth's normal pull. The air thinned. The temperature swung from burning heat to freezing cold. "This is a Class 14 world," the instructor's voice came through their communications gear. "Standard mercenary training ground. You have 1 hour to reach the objective." Half the candidates dropped out in the first 20 minutes. Their bodies, despite being among Earth's finest warriors, couldn't handle the extreme conditions. Those who survived learned quickly. They discovered that their hybrid armor, a combination of human durability and alien technology, could help them adapt to almost any environment. But only if they understood how to use it properly. "Your greatest weapon isn't your gun," a technical instructor told them during week 3. "It's your mind. Most alien species rely completely on their technology. You need to be better than that." The candidates learned to strip down and rebuild alien weapons blindfolded. They studied alien psychology and tactics. They trained in zero gravity, underwater, in toxic atmospheres. They learned to fight with technology and without it. But the hardest lessons weren't physical. "Humans have one critical weakness," the psychology instructor explained. "Overconfidence. We're stronger than most aliens, yes. More durable, yes. But the moment you start believing you're invincible is the moment you die." The candidates learned from recordings of failed operations. They saw what happened to human soldiers who got cocky, who underestimated alien technology or tactics. The lessons were brutal but necessary. Week 6 brought the first live-fire exercise against captured mercenary combat drones. The candidates had to use everything they'd learned, their natural strength, their hybrid technology, and most importantly, their ability to adapt. The drones are programmed with standard mercenary combat patterns, the instructor explained. Show us what you've learned. The result was beyond expectations. The candidates didn't just fight the drones, they outthought them. When technology failed, they improvised. When plans went wrong, they adapted. They proved why humans were becoming the most feared warriors in the galaxy. Of the 50 candidates who started, only 15 made it to the final test. It was deceptively simple: survive for 24 hours on a simulated alien world while being hunted by veteran instructors using real mercenary tactics. The candidates weren't given any weapons. No special equipment. Just their training and their will to survive. 12 succeeded. Not by fighting, they weren't meant to. They succeeded by doing what humans do best: adapting, improvising, and overcoming impossible odds. Congratulations, the old instructor told the graduates. You're now part of humanity's answer to the mercenary threat. But remember this: your greatest strength isn't your training, your technology, or even your natural abilities. He paused, looking each graduate in the eye. Your greatest strength is that you never stop learning. Never stop improving. The mercenaries think they know what humans are capable of. Your job is to prove them wrong. To show them that humanity's potential has no limits. The graduates left the facility different from how they'd entered. They weren't just elite soldiers anymore. They were something new, warriors who combined human determination with alien technology, earthborn strength with galactic knowledge. They were humanity's new guardians. And across the galaxy, mercenary companies were about to learn why taking contracts against Earth was a death sentence. Because these weren't just special forces operators. They were Deathworlders who had mastered both human and alien ways of war. They were the perfect combination of Earth's harshness and the galaxy's advancement. And they were ready to hunt. The battle for Proxima Colony marked the moment everything changed. The mercenary fleet arrived expecting an easy raid on a young human settlement. Instead, they found themselves walking into a carefully planned trap. High above the colony, hidden in the rings of a gas giant, Commander Hayes watched through his neural interface as the mercenary ships entered the system. His team of 12 operators lay waiting in specially modified stealth pods, their hybrid armor systems running silent. All units, execute on my mark, Hayes whispered into the tactical net. The words were unnecessary, the neural link shared his thoughts directly with his team. But old habits died hard. The mercenaries followed their standard pattern. 3 heavy cruisers holding position at the system's edge while smaller assault ships moved toward the colony. Their scans would show minimal defenses, a small civilian population, and valuable mining equipment ripe for the taking. They didn't detect the stealth pods. They didn't notice the modified defense satellites hidden in the planet's magnetic field. And most importantly, they didn't realize that every civilian in the colony was a retired Special Forces operator. Hayes waited until the assault ships committed to their approach. Execute. The defense satellites activated first, their hybrid weapons, human projectiles accelerated by alien technology, tearing through the mercenaries' energy shields. The aliens had never adapted their defenses to stop physical rounds moving at near-light speed. As the mercenaries scrambled to respond, Hayes' team struck. The stealth pods activated their gravity drives, crossing the vast distance to the heavy cruisers in seconds. While the mercenaries focused on the colony, human operators were already cutting their way through their capital ships' hulls. Inside the lead cruiser, alien crew members died before they realized they were under attack. Hayes moved through the corridors like a ghost, his armor's adaptive camouflage bending light around him. The few mercenaries who spotted him saw only a blur before their lives ended. Engine room secured, one of his operators reported through the neural link. Beginning shutdown sequence. Similar reports came from the other cruisers. The human operators moved with surgical precision, disabling key systems and eliminating resistance with ruthless efficiency. On the colony's surface, the helpless civilians revealed their true nature. The mercenary ground forces found themselves facing combat veterans who knew every alley, every building, every angle of approach. The alien superior numbers meant nothing against defenders who had trained specifically to counter their tactics. They're retreating to their assault ships, the colony's commander reported. Moving into Phase 3. Hayes smiled inside his armor. Phase 3 was his favorite part. As the panicked mercenaries fled back to their ships, they discovered their vessel's computer systems had been compromised. Emergency launches failed. Weapons wouldn't respond. They were trapped. "This is Commander Hayes to all mercenary forces," he broadcast on their command frequency. "Your ships are disabled. Your ground forces are surrounded. You have one chance to surrender." The response came in broken Earth English. "Impossible, how did you?" "We've been studying you," Hayes replied. "Learning your tactics. Your technology. Your weaknesses. For every raid you launched against human colonies, we adapted. Improved. Evolved." The silence stretched for several seconds. "The galaxy told us humans were primitive," the mercenary commander finally said. "That you were barely space-capable. The galaxy was wrong." Hayes's voice was cold. "We're not primitive. We're patient. We waited. We learned. And now we're showing you why Deathworlders make the deadliest hunters in the universe." The surrender came quickly after that. As Hayes's team secured the mercenary crews, reports flooded in from across human space. Similar ambushes had been sprung on every major mercenary fleet targeting Earth's colonies. In a single coordinated operation, humanity had broken the back of the mercenary threat. But more importantly, they had sent a message to the galaxy: the era of seeing humans as easy targets was over. Earth's children had mastered the stars, combining their natural strength with stolen technology to become something unprecedented, warriors who could outfight and outthink the galaxy's most hardened killers. As Hayes watched the captured mercenaries being processed, he received a neural transmission from Earth Command. New orders. There were other mercenary companies out there, ones who hadn't participated in this attack. They would learn soon enough. Because humanity wasn't just defending anymore. They were going hunting. The predator had become the prey. And the galaxy was about to learn why Earth's Special Forces had become legend. Aboard the stealth ship, Silent Night, Hayes studied the holographic display showing a distant space station. Omega-7, notorious safe haven for mercenary companies. The kind of place where questions weren't asked and blood money flowed freely. Thermal scans complete, his second-in-command reported. 412 signatures. Mixed species. Heavy security presence around the central levels. The mission was different this time. After the Proxima colony victory, human forces had shifted to offensive operations. No more waiting for attacks. They were taking the fight to the enemy. "Show me the target's last known location," Hayes ordered. A red marker appeared in the station's upper levels. The Black Scale Company's command center. One of the largest mercenary operations still accepting contracts against human colonies. Not for much longer. Remember, Hayes addressed his team through the neural link, this isn't about killing. It's about sending a message. We want survivors to spread the word. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. While the station's security focused on their main docking areas, Hayes's team would enter through the maintenance airlocks. Their hybrid armor could handle vacuum exposure for hours, making the 2-kilometer space walk trivial. Breach teams in position, the tactical net reported. Ready on your mark. Hayes took a moment to review the intelligence. The Black Scale Company had led 3 raids on human colonies in the past month. They thought distance and stealth protected them. They were wrong. Execute. The maintenance airlock security systems never detected the intrusion. Human-modified alien tech disabled the sensors while the team slipped inside. They moved through the station service tunnels like shadows, their armor adapting to match the surrounding metal and darkness. Control room located, an operator reported. 6 guards. Standard mercenary loadout. Hayes's response was immediate, take them. The battle lasted seconds. The mercenary guards, equipped with top-of-the-line alien weapons, never stood a chance against Earth's finest. Silent takedowns, no alarms raised. Inside the control room, Hayes's team accessed the station's systems. Security cameras went dark. Communication channels jammed. Emergency doors sealed, trapping the Black Scale leadership in their command center. That's when the lights went out. In the darkness, human operators moved with perfect clarity, their enhanced vision turning night into day. The mercenaries, suddenly blind and isolated, faced their worst nightmare, human special forces who had specifically trained to hunt them. This is Commander Hayes, his voice echoed through the command center speakers. To the leadership of the Black Scale Company. You have one chance to surrender. The response came in bursts of plasma fire, illuminating the darkness briefly. Hayes watched through his visor as panicked mercenaries fired at shadows, wasting ammunition on empty corners. Wrong choice. His team struck from multiple angles. The mercenaries' advanced armor, designed to stop energy weapons, provided little protection against the hybrid weapons humans had developed. Concentrated fire brought down their shields. Precise shots found weak points. In 3 minutes, it was over. The Black Scale leadership was secured, their command center captured, their operations data downloaded. Send the message, Hayes ordered. Every screen in the station lit up with the same image, captured mercenary leaders kneeling before human operators. The text below was simple, the rules have changed. Earth is no longer prey. We are the hunters now. Any company accepting contracts against human territories will face the same fate. There will be nowhere to hide. No station secure enough. No distance too far. Consider this your only warning. As his team extracted with their prisoners, Hayes received confirmation of similar operations across the galaxy. Other human strike teams hitting mercenary bases, command centers, and safe houses. A coordinated campaign to show that humanity's reach was far longer than anyone had suspected. The message spread quickly through mercenary channels. Companies that had once seen human colonies as easy targets now refused any contracts involving Earth forces. The cost was too high, the risk too great. Because they'd finally understood the truth, humans weren't just strong, they were relentless. They didn't just fight, they hunted. And they never, ever stopped until their mission was complete. Back aboard the Silent Knight, Hayes reviewed the operation data. 0 casualties on his side. Minimal collateral damage. Maximum psychological impact. Sir, his second-in-command called, new intelligence coming in. 3 other mercenary companies are evacuating their bases. They're running scared. Hayes nodded. The hunter had truly become the hunted. And the galaxy was learning why Earth's special forces had earned their fearsome reputation. The predators had finally met a superior predator. And the hunt was just beginning. The conference chamber aboard the Galactic Council station hummed with nervous energy. Representatives from 200 spacefaring civilizations gathered to discuss one topic, Earth's rising influence in galactic security. High Admiral Chen, Earth's representative, stood calmly at the podium. Behind her, footage played on massive screens, human special forces operations against mercenary strongholds, precision strikes that had reshaped the balance of power. In the past 6 months, she addressed the assembly, mercenary attacks on civilian shipping have dropped by 80%. Raids on outer colonies have decreased by 90%. The galaxy is safer than it has been in generations. A reptilian delegate rose. Because your warriors have become the most feared force in known space. Some say you've merely replaced one threat with another. Chen smiled. Not the diplomatic smile of a politician, but the confident expression of someone holding a winning hand. We eliminated threats. Protected the innocent. Tell me, how many civilian casualties resulted from our operations against mercenary bases? The chamber fell silent. The answer was 0. Human special forces had conducted hundreds of strikes without a single civilian death. Their precision was unprecedented. The Drachnid Collective requests Earth's assistance, a new voice called out. The chamber erupted in murmurs. The Drachnids were one of the oldest civilizations, proud warriors who had never asked for help. Our outer worlds face increasing raids, the Drachnid representative continued. Our forces are strong, but the mercenaries adapt too quickly. We need your expertise. More requests followed. Smaller civilizations, trade consortiums, even some former mercenary groups seeking protection. Earth's reputation had transformed from primitive newcomers to essential defenders of galactic peace. But in a private chamber after the session, Chen met with Earth's top military leaders to discuss a darker truth. Their neural interfaces shared data that hadn't been revealed to the Council. The pattern is clear, Hayes reported, his hologram flickering. These mercenary groups aren't just raiders. They're too organized. Someone's directing them. Intelligence gathered from captured bases painted a disturbing picture. The mercenary attacks on Earth hadn't been random. They were probing attacks, testing human capabilities, searching for weaknesses. Whoever's behind this, Chen said, they've been playing a long game. Using mercenaries to test new civilizations, eliminating threats before they grow too strong. But they'd never encountered anything like humanity before. Earth's forces hadn't just survived the probing attacks, they'd turned them into opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. The next phase is beginning, Hayes warned. Our success has forced their hand. They'll have to reveal themselves soon. As if confirming his words, new reports flowed through their neural links. Mercenary groups consolidating into larger forces. Advanced weapons appearing on the black market. Someone was preparing for a major conflict. But humanity wasn't the same primitive species they'd first encountered. Earth's forces had absorbed technology and tactics from every engagement, combining them with their natural strengths to become something unprecedented. Let them come, Chen told her commanders. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. The galaxy needs us. The meeting ended, but the preparations continued. Across human space, special forces units trained harder, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Scientists developed new hybrid technologies. Intelligence teams pieced together the puzzle of who was really behind the mercenary attacks. In the Galactic Council chamber, delegates continued requesting Earth's protection, not realizing they were watching the opening moves of a much larger game. Humanity had gained the galaxy's recognition. Soon, they would gain its gratitude. Because the real war was coming. And Earth's special forces would stand as the first line of defense against an enemy that had spent millennia working from the shadows. The mercenaries had been just the beginning. The true test of humanity's strength was about to begin. The massive fleet appeared without warning. Over 3,000 ships dropping out of hyperspace near Jupiter's orbit. Not mercenary vessels, these were warships, built for one purpose, conquest. So they've finally shown themselves, Hayes muttered aboard his command ship. Earth's combined fleet faced the invaders, every human Special Forces unit mobilized for what could be their final battle. The enemy's transmission came on all frequencies. A hologram appeared, tall, ethereal beings with crystalline features. The Precursors, an ancient race thought to be extinct. Fascinating creatures, their leader spoke, voice resonating unnaturally. You've exceeded all our tests. No species has ever turned our mercenary proxies into prey. But now, you've become too dangerous to allow your further evolution. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, her expression hard. You've been culling emerging civilizations. Using mercenaries to eliminate any species that might challenge you. We maintain order, the Precursor responded. For 50,000 years, we've guided galactic evolution. Species that grow too strong, too quickly, must be pruned. Surely you understand, you've seen how powerful your kind can become. The truth clicked into place. The mercenary attacks, the probing raids, all designed to identify and eliminate potential rivals before they could reach the Precursor's level of advancement. Last chance, Chen broadcast. Retreat, or face the consequences. The Precursor's laugh echoed through the frequencies. You think your stolen technology and brutal strength can match our power? We've spent millennia perfecting the art of war. No, Chen replied calmly. You've spent millennia avoiding real war. Using proxies. Hiding in shadows. While we've spent our entire history fighting to survive. The battle erupted with apocalyptic fury. The Precursor fleet launched their first strike, elegant energy weapons that could tear apart normal ships. But human vessels weren't normal. Reverse-engineered from countless mercenary encounters, enhanced with Earthborn innovations, they absorbed the assault. And then, they struck back. Hayes led the Special Forces counterattack. Stealth ships slipped through the Precursor formation, teams of operators boarding their massive vessels. The enemy's advanced technology meant nothing against warriors who had trained specifically to adapt and overcome superior forces. Their ships are like their tactics, Hayes reported through the neural net. Beautiful, powerful, but inflexible. They don't know how to handle close-quarters combat. The Precursors had expected another technological battle. Instead, they faced humanity's unique combination of brutal strength and tactical innovation. Their perfect formations shattered against human unpredictability. Their advanced AI couldn't adapt to Earth's seemingly chaotic battle strategies. Chen watched from her command deck as human forces did what they did best, improvising, adapting, turning the enemy's strength against them. Special Forces teams captured Precursor ships and turned their weapons on their former masters. Earth's fleet took heavy losses but kept fighting, kept pushing, kept coming no matter what they faced. Impossible, the Precursor leader's voice crackled across space. Your technology is inferior. Your civilization is younger. You should not be able to. You don't understand humanity, Chen cut him off. We're not fighting with just technology. We're fighting with everything we are, every hard lesson our harsh world taught us, every bitter victory that kept our species alive. Today, you learn why Deathworlders make the deadliest warriors. The battle raged for hours. The Precursor fleet, for all its power, had never faced an enemy that wouldn't break. Human forces took horrific casualties but pressed on. Every loss made them fight harder, adapt faster, strike back stronger. In the end, it wasn't superior technology that won the day. It was the human spirit, the relentless drive that had carried Earth's children from stone tools to the stars. The Precursor fleet retreated in disarray, their perfect order shattered, their leader's ship captured. Humanity had done the impossible, defeated an enemy that had dominated the galaxy for 50,000 years. As the neural net shared victory confirmations, Hayes stood in the captured Precursor command center. Send the message, he ordered. To every world, every species, every corner of space. The message was simple: the age of hiding in shadows was over. Humanity stood ready to protect any civilization from those who would prey on the weak. The galaxy would no longer be ruled by fear. A new era had begun. And it started with the sound of human boots on a precursor deck, marking the end of one age and the beginning of another. The final battle was over. But humanity's greatest challenge, building a safer galaxy, was just beginning. 5 years after the Precursor War, Commander Hayes stood before a new class of cadets at the Galactic Defense Academy. The massive training facility, built in Earth orbit, hosted students from over 300 alien species. "Look around you," Hayes addressed the assembled cadets. "A decade ago, most of your peoples were enemies or strangers. Today, you train together, learn together, grow stronger together." The defeat of the precursors had changed everything. Their ancient technology, now freely shared, advanced medical science by centuries. Their captured ships became the foundation for a new galactic defense fleet. But the most important change wasn't technological. The greatest weapon humanity brought to the galaxy wasn't our strength, Hayes continued, pacing before the cadets. It wasn't our technology or our fighting skills. It was something far more powerful, our ability to adapt, to change, to grow. In the years since the final battle, human special forces had transformed from warriors into teachers. They shared not just combat techniques, but the mindset that made Earth's soldiers so formidable, the willingness to face impossible odds, the creativity to find solutions where none seemed to exist. "Each of you comes from a different world, evolved under different conditions," Hayes said. "Some of you are naturally stronger than humans. Some have better technology. But together, we're learning from each other, becoming something greater than any single species could be alone." The Academy's training grounds showed this philosophy in action. Massive environmental chambers simulated conditions from thousands of worlds. Students learned to operate in every conceivable situation, using each species' natural advantages to overcome their weaknesses. The precursors failed because they feared change, Hayes explained. They saw different species as threats to be eliminated. We see them as allies to be embraced. That's the real legacy of Earth's Special Forces, not that we were the strongest, but that we showed strength comes in many forms. In the space around Earth, ships from across the galaxy moved in harmony. Former mercenary vessels, repurposed for peaceful trade. Alien medical ships, studying Earth's harsh conditions to understand how they shaped human physiology. Diplomatic craft bringing new species into the growing alliance. "Some called us Deathworlders," Hayes told the cadets. "They meant it as a warning, a reason to fear us. But being from a death world taught us the most valuable lesson in the universe: survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being able to change." The cadets absorbed his words. Among them sat former mercenaries, learning to use their skills for protection instead of profit. Children of worlds once raided, now training to defend others. Even a young precursor, part of their species' new generation seeking redemption through service. "Today, you begin your real training," Hayes concluded. "Not to be the greatest warriors in the galaxy, but to be its greatest defenders. To show that strength without wisdom is meaningless. That power without purpose is empty." As he finished speaking, a neural alert reminded him of another milestone. The last mercenary company in known space had just surrendered, choosing to join the Galactic Defense Force rather than face extinction. The age of raiders and pirates was truly ending. But Hayes knew there would always be new challenges. Beyond known space, other threats might lurk. Other species might arise who saw violence as the only path to power. That's why the Academy existed, to pass on not just human combat skills, but human adaptability, human creativity, human determination. "Remember this," he told the cadets as they prepared to begin their training. "Earth Special Forces didn't become legend because we were unbeatable. We became legend because we never stopped learning, never stopped growing, never stopped trying to be better than we were yesterday. The legacy of Earth's Deathworlders wasn't the fear they'd instilled in their enemies. It was the hope they'd given to their allies. The proof that even the harshest beginnings could lead to the noblest ends. As Hayes watched the cadets move to their first training sessions, he smiled. Humanity had come so far from those first desperate battles against mercenary raiders. They'd faced extinction and emerged stronger. They'd confronted ancient powers and shown that determination could overcome any obstacle. But their greatest victory wasn't on any battlefield. It was here, in these halls, where former enemies learned to work together. Where strength was measured not in weapons or technology, but in the ability to adapt, to change, to grow. The legacy of Earth's Special Forces would live on in every graduate of the Academy. In every world protected, every conflict prevented, every species that chose cooperation over confrontation. They had started as warriors. They had become teachers. And in doing so, they had given the galaxy something it had never known under the Precursor's rule, hope for a future where strength served wisdom, where power protected peace, and where the lessons of Earth's harsh cradle helped guide 1,000,000 worlds toward a better tomorrow. The age of the Deathworlders was over. The age of unity had begun. And that was humanity's greatest victory of all.